You're invited to participate in a true multimedia experience coming to a home near you. LCM TV is bringing Lake County into the new millennium with news, live broadcast, information, music, talk shows, and local programming, all streaming in high definition online and soon to be on your Roku box. Join us at lcm-tv.com or be a part of our studio audience. You can also watch the shows at lakecomagazine.com as we provide programming to inform, enlighten, and maybe even enrage you. On Lake County Magazine Talk Show with Terry and Pete the Tax Guy, Wednesday mornings at 9 a.m. Like racing? Try the Checkered Flag Show, hosted by Ace Naylor on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. All ages and divisions in regional and national fields. Joni Lane brings a positive light to you every Monday at 3 p.m. Pasha Space brings an international flair as they discuss ecological, health, and social issues in Haiti with people around the world. End up your week with positive, conscious sounds on Saturday at 9 a.m. with Sister T on the Bridge. This show is also simulcast on KMEC 105.1 FM in Ukiah. Our latest show, LCM TV News, is brought to you live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at noon, and rebroadcast at 6:30 p.m. and noon daily, Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday, featuring national, regional, and local news, weather, and sports. We have it all here for you on your local TV station, LCM TV. Join us online and soon on Roku, giving you access to all the best Lake County has to offer. We are LCMTV.com, your multimedia connection. Tune in for the fun. It's live TV at its best.
Welcome. This is LCM TV News. We're not your normal news at noon. A grand jury in Baltimore has indicted 6 police officers on homicide and assault charges in the death of Freddie Gray, who was fatally injured last month in police custody. The charges announced by Marilyn J. Mosby, the state attorney for Baltimore City, do not differ greatly from those she initially filed against the officers. But getting a grand jury to agree and deliver an indictment is a milestone in a case that has generated national attention. The case of Mr. Gray, 25, was arrested and injured on April 12th and died a week later. It was one in a string of recent encounters that the country in which young black men have died at the hands of police, prompting protest, arguments about the role of race in law enforcement, and claims that police practices are deeply flawed.
Islamic State militants swept into the historic desert city of Palmyra in central Syria on Wednesday, and by evening were in control of it, a victory that gives them another strategically important prize 5 days after the group seized the Iraq city of Ramadi. Palmyra has extra resonance as the home to some of the world's most magnificent remnants of antiquity, as well as the grimmer modern landmark of Tamdur prison, where Syrian dissidents have languished over the decades. But for the fighters on the ground, this city of 50,000 people is significant because it sits among gas fields and astride a network of roads across the country's central desert. As they have swept across Syria and Iraq, Islamic State fighters have destroyed or damaged numerous ancient sites and sculptures, condemning them as idolatry in slickly produced recruitment films, even as they pillage and sell off more portable items to finance their activities. That has raised fears both locally and internationally that Palmyra, a United Nations World Heritage Site, could also be irrevocably damaged.
The Senate voted by a narrow margin on Thursday to break a filibuster on legislation to empower President Obama to complete a major 12-nation Pacific Trade Accord, most likely clearing a path for approval of a crucial piece of Mr. Obama's ambitious trade agenda. Those amendments include a bipartisan push to demand that any trade deal address the international manipulation of currency rates, as well as proposal by Senator Elizabeth Warren, Democrat of Massachusetts, to strip from the Pacific Trade Deal a chapter granting corporations the right to challenge regulations in member nations that harm the value of their investments. Regardless of the gauntlet, Thursday's vote helped the president's trade push clear a major hurdle. It also vindicated the strategy of Senator Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, the majority leader, who strictly limited the number of amendments to the trade bill and jammed it into last week before the Senate's Memorial Day recess.
Senator Rand Paul embarked on a so-called filibuster of pending Senate legislation on Wednesday that would renew a controversial domestic surveillance program run by the National Security Agency. The Kentucky senator, who is also running for president in 2016, began speaking to a mostly empty room on the Senate floor around 1:30 p.m. and made it for about 10 hours until his voice gave out. Paul announced his filibuster on Twitter. He opposes renewing a section of the Patriot Act that allows the NSA to collect domestic electronic and telephone data in bulk. Paul said he also has concerns about a bill that would reform the NSA program by eliminating bulk data collection. The NSA reform bill would allow the NSA to retrieve the information from the telecommunications companies. Both bills are slated for a vote in the Senate this week.
Aquariums in Japan have voted to stop buying live dolphins from the town of Taiji, where the annual slaughter of hundreds of cetaceans has drawn widespread condemnation. Excuse me, folks, cetaceans. They were after being threatened with expulsion from the world's leading zoo organization. The Japanese Association of Zoos and Aquariums, commonly known as JAZA, voted to stay part of the World Association of Zoos and Aquariums, a move that in effect ends the procurement of Taiji dolphins by aquariums and sea parks in Japan. The decision comes weeks after WAZA suspended its Japanese members and threatened them with expulsion unless they ended their unethical association with the town. Taiji in Wakayama Prefecture on the Pacific coast gained notoriety in the Oscar-winning 2009 documentary. The cove, which showed fishermen herding the pods of dolphins into shallow water before killing them with knives. Most of the animals captured during the drive hunts are butchered for their meat, but some are sold to aquariums in sea parks in Japan and overseas.
Most Federal Reserve officials believe that June is probably too soon to start raising the Fed's benchmark interest rate, according to its April policy-setting meeting. Officials blamed the economic weakness seen early this year on temporary factors like a cold winter and disruptions at West Coast ports, but most of them thought it unlikely that the data available by June would provide sufficient confirmation that stronger growth had returned. It was also suggested, however, the policymakers are ready to move as soon as that evidence has accumulated and their outlook remains optimistic. Most participants expected that, following the slowdown during the first quarter, real economic activity would resume expansion at a moderate pace and that the labor market conditions would improve further. We will be back after this brief message.
SSS Multimedia is sending you smoke signals, providing their clients with the ultimate communication and multimedia marketing, distribution, production, and web-based services. They feature high-def video equipment and quality audio sound. SSS is your multimedia source, from graphics for business cards to television production, radio, live sound, and everything in between. SSS is sending you smoke signals. Get your message out with SSS Multimedia. For more information, call 707-701-6416 or email info@sssmultimedia.com.
Welcome back. I'm Pete Schiffman.
I'm Megan Berger.
And here's the regional news. A magnitude 4.1 earthquake rattled the Napa Valley on Thursday evening, the largest quake to shake the area since the devastating South Napa quake last August. There were no reports of damage, but emergency dispatchers received many calls from residents concerned about the shaking. The quake, which struck at 7:53 p.m., was centered about 5 miles east-northeast of Yountville, according to preliminary information from the U.S. Geological Survey. Its epicenter was located more than 5 miles under the surface, again according to USGS. The quake was felt more than 60 miles to the east in Sacramento and as far away as San Jose, located 125 miles to the south, according to reports filed with the USGS. It was the largest earthquake in Napa Valley since a magnitude 6.0 quake struck before dawn on August 24, 2014, south of Napa, killing 1 person, injuring about 200 others, and causing about $360 million in property damage throughout the region.
Plains Pipeline, the largest Texas-based company responsible for the pipe that ruptured in Santa Barbara County, has accumulated 175 safety and maintenance infractions since 2006, according to federal records. The spill has spread to 9 miles of beach, and the oil-soaked birds have begun washing up on the shore. A Times analysis of the data from the Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration shows Plains' rate of incidents per mile of pipe is more than 3 times the national average. Among more than 1,700 pipeline operators listed in a database maintained by the federal agency, only 4 companies reported more infractions than Plains Pipeline. The company, which transports and stores crude oil, is part of Plains All-American Pipeline, which owns and operates nearly 18,000 miles of pipe networks in several states. It reported $43 billion in revenue in 2014 and $878 million in profit, according to federal records. Since 2006, the company's incidents caused more than $23 million in property damage and spilled more than 688,000 gallons of hazardous liquid. A Plains Pipeline spokesman did not immediately respond to a request for comment about this regulatory record. In a statement Tuesday night, the company said it was working with authorities to contain the damage caused by the rupture in Goleta. The spill near Refugio State Beach occurred Tuesday on an 11-mile-long pipeline that is part of a larger oil transport network centered in Kern County. Authorities say the accident may have released as much as 105,000 gallons of crude oil. The company said it inspected the pipeline's integrity 2 weeks ago, but the results had not come back before the rupture. Governor Brown declared a state of emergency in Santa Barbara on Wednesday. A similar spill in 1969 at the same location is credited with inspiring the formation of the EPA and Earth Day.
Reversing a long-standing aversion to letting doctors assist in patients' intentional death, the California Medical Association has dropped its opposition to the California bill allowing terminally ill people to take their lives with prescribed drugs. The shift immediately buoyed Senate Bill 128's prospects. In past years, the powerful doctors group has represented an immovable pillar of opposition to the notion of helping people hasten their deaths, arguing that it undermines their fundamental role as healers and violates their oath to avoid harming patients. The Medical Association's neutrality silences one of the most influential and well-respected voices opposing assisted death. SB 128 is parked in the Senate Appropriations Committee, and if it advances, it would now face a Senate floor vote. Governor Jerry Brown has not weighed in. Fatally ill patients seeking lethal drugs would need to clear a series of hurdles and win the approval of multiple doctors if SB 128 becomes law. They would need to obtain a prognosis of having 6 months or less to live, make 2 separate requests in a written one, see a second physician to have their prognosis confirmed, and to have a doctor ensure they are mentally competent.
As an update to our story last week, federal authorities have granted temporary flow reductions aimed at keeping more water in Lake Pillsbury, a small but crucial Lake County reservoir high in the Mendocino National Forest that supplies water to the Eel River, Lake Mendocino, the Russian River, and the people, farmers, and fish dependent on them. The move is aimed at ensuring healthier river flows into the fall. The changes, implemented Monday by PG&E, which owns the reservoir, will remain in effect until June 18th, providing sufficient time for the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission to collect and review public comments on the changes and make a final determination. A 15-day comment period began on Monday. The amount of the flows will vary depending on factors that include how much water is in the lake. Potter Valley Irrigation District Board member Janet Pauley is happy with the decision and optimistic that it will remain in place until December 1st as requested. The district is dependent on water diversion from the Eel River, and environmentalists, water agencies, fishery officials, and farmers hope that holding back water in the reservoir will now mean that there will still be water flowing into the fall. The reduction in flows down the Eel and Russian rivers is expected to harm fish in the short term, but it could save them from perishing later. Federal regulators noted this in their decision.
A Boonville teenager was killed Wednesday near Philo when the car he was driving crashed into a tree and caught fire. The 18-year-old man had just left his job and was eastbound on Highway 128 shortly after 4 p.m. May 20th in his 2003 Toyota Corolla when, for unknown reasons, the car left the roadway and hit the south shoulder of the road. The car then collided with a tree and the driver was trapped inside the vehicle. Passing motorists saw the collision and stopped to help. At first they couldn't see anyone inside the car because of the excessive amount of smoke, but they opened the door and pulled him out of the car just before it caught on fire. Once medical personnel arrived on scene, however, the driver was declared deceased. The crash was described as being near Goins Oak Tree at mile marker 21.5. The Mendocino County Sheriff's Office identified the driver as Ernesto Contreras, 18, of Philo. The cause of the collision is under investigation, but at this time, alcohol does not appear to have been a factor.
The North Coast Regional Water Quality Control Board has issued a draft of marijuana cultivation waiver that would allow growers to come into compliance with the state water regulations regardless of the legality of marijuana under state or federal law. The proposed regulations containing provisions for a waiver are in a 30-day public comment period. If the proposal is finalized as drafted, sometime this year, all private property growers with more than 6 plants must apply for this waiver if their operation could impact water quality. This process provides a pathway into compliance for growers in an otherwise totally unregulated industry. The program creates a 3-tiered system based on environmental impact and size, with escalating levels of scrutiny, mitigation responsibility, and potential fines. This action is the latest and most far-reaching in the board's efforts to rein in the environmental degradation that has resulted from unregulated marijuana cultivation. Inspections will be performed in a kind of triage on the basis of environmental degradation and risk to fish populations. Unlike CDFW game wardens, who as law enforcement are allowed to enter any property not directly adjacent to the home under the open fields doctrine, water board inspectors will need permission from the property owner to enter. Otherwise, they will have to secure a warrant.
The North Bay continues to be the slowest growing part of the booming Bay Area, according to new population and housing estimates released Thursday by the U.S. Census Bureau. Housing construction has not kept pace with population growth across the Bay Area. The 9-county region has added 394,000 residents since 2010, but just 53,000 housing units during the same period, or more than 7 people for every new unit of housing, fueling a rapid increase in home prices and rents. Population growth and construction is notably slower in the North Bay. Sonoma, Napa, and Marin counties added 28,300 residents from 2010 to 2014, an increase of 3.4%. The rest of the Bay Area saw an increase of 6.1%. Santa Rosa and Sebastopol were the fastest growing cities, increasing their population by 3.8% during the 4-year period. Population remained virtually flat in Mendocino County, increasing just 0.3% during the 4-year period. Lake County lost population, which declined by 0.7% to 64,200 people.
California seniors are drinking more, moving less, and experiencing more mental health issues than in the past, according to a 2015 America's Health Ranking Senior Report released Wednesday. Last year, California ranked 18th in the nation for senior care, but dropped to 29th in this year's report. The report tracks 35 measures for senior health in each state using data from several federal agencies. Categories assessed included behavior, community and environment, policy, clinical care outcomes, and supplemental measures. On a national level, the study found that seniors are experiencing fewer hospital readmissions and are more likely to spend their final days in a setting of their choice. California's downward shift in the ranking could be due in part to a downward trend in senior exercise. Though California seniors are still more active than seniors in other states, their rates of physical inactivity have increased 29% in the past 2 years. Seniors tend to have a higher burden of chronic illness that needs to be kept in check. It's important to have a routine follow-up care. Also concerning is the low number of seniors enrolled in the federal Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, also called CalFresh, and the 23% increase in seniors with a chronic drinking problem. Here are some of the study's findings for California seniors. 8th for smoking rates, which means there are fewer California seniors smoking compared to the rest of the country. 46th for chronic drinking, 4th least likely to be obese, and 50th place for SNAP enrollment, 48th worst for poor mental health days in the previous 30 days.
With great weather expected across most of the Golden State this holiday weekend, CAL FIRE urges everyone to use caution as fire danger remains higher than normal due to the drought. Memorial Day weekend is often said to be the official start of summer, with everyone enjoying outdoor activities and recreation during the 3-day break. Chief Ken Pimlott, CAL FIRE Director, stated, "While we hope everyone has an enjoyable holiday, we also want it to be a safe one. The dry conditions throughout the state have created a situation where a fire could easily spark, so we ask everyone to be cautious as they enjoy their time outdoors." So far this year, CAL FIRE has seen almost twice as many wildfires than average, and the peak of summer is still to come. In the midst of this severe drought, everyone's encouraged to be vigilant and remember that one less spark means one less wildfire. For a complete list of what you need to know to safely enjoy yourself this summer, camping, driving, and in the water, go to lakecomagazine.com and look for the article. Up next is local news, and we'll be right back.
The taxman's taken all my dough and left me in my stately home, blazing on a sunny afternoon. And I can't sail my yacht, he's taken everything I got. All I've got's this sunny afternoon.
Manticorp Tax and Accounting can help you minimize taxation, establish a corporate presence, and save you money. Our over 25 years of experience in domestic and international taxation and incorporation services makes us the best at what we do. Your first consultation at Manticorp is always free, and our discounted rates guarantee you will not end up paying for what you don't get. Try Manticorp today. For more information, call 707-701-6416 or email info@manticorpusa.com.
In the summertime.
Welcome back. This is Megan Berger.
I'm Pete Schiffman.
The Clear Lake City Council unanimously approved reallocating bond funds to help facilitate the Burns Valley School and Civic Center pedestrian sidewalk project. With an expected total cost of between $800,000 and $1 million, the funds will be used as required matching funds for an active transportation grant from the California Department of Transportation, or the DOT, which is being applied for by the city.
Nearly an hour and a half of Tuesday's Lake County Board of Supervisors meeting was dedicated to the potential of a land records audit. After hearing from multiple residents regarding alleged illegal foreclosures, the board held a discussion with the purpose of determining whether an audit would be financially feasible and to what could be done without any information garnered from it, and to what extent the county can pursue litigation or regulation. Lake County Assessor Recorder Richard Ford cited a report from the California Department of Real Estate that said he clarified that the county recorder is not responsible for verifying the validity, authenticity, or legitimacy of the document that is recorded. If the document meets the essential recording requirements and proper fees are submitted, the county recorder is obligated to and will record the document. Kelseyville resident Larry Anderson, who has addressed the board during public comment at nearly every recent meeting, said California, being a non-judicial state, is a key issue. It means no courts are watching the henhouse. Banking cartels have all the money in the world, and small local attorneys don't want to take on the banks. Lake County District Attorney Don Anderson explained to what extent the DA's office can pursue prosecution. The law is uncertain on how we are going to enforce this, Don Anderson said. There is no criminal case that I can find that addresses this issue. County Counsel Anita Grant said that the California Homeowners Bill of Rights, while giving considerable protection to homeowners against predatory lending practices, does not give any cause of action to local government to act on behalf of the citizens civilly. No action was taken by the board as the discussion was continued to its May 26th meeting. During that meeting, the board will bring a resolution stating their concerns.
Beginning last Sunday, the California Highway Patrol's Clear Lake and Williams areas will have an increased enforcement on Highway 20, focusing on motorcycle safety and impaired driving. May is Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month in California. And during the spring and summer months, Highway 20 in Colusa and Lake counties are favored by thousands of motorcyclists, often riding in special motorcycle-related events, as it is a primary thoroughfare linking Interstate 5 and US 101. Alcohol is commonly served at these events, which can lead to deadly consequences. Funding for this program was provided by the grant from the California Office of Traffic Safety through the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
On Thursday, the Clear Lake City Council unanimously approved an agreement with Middletown-based R&C Construction totaling nearly $44,000 to provide a secondary entrance and more storage for evidence. The money comes from AB 109 grant funds, which are shared between Lakeport and Clear Lake. Previously, these funds have been used to conduct proactive crime sweeps, cross-training a K-9 unit for narcotic searches, and purchasing equipment. This is according to Clear Lake Police Chief Greg Clausen. The need for more evidence storage is a result of AB 109 realignment, as the length of time that evidence needs to be stored has increased. The need for a secondary door is more fundamental. It arises from public and safety concerns. Currently, the CBD has only one entrance leading to the lobby, which is often crowded with citizens.
An agreement between Lake County Transit Authority and Sutter Lakeside Hospital for non-emergency transportation services will provide patients with options for reaching medical care. The contract, which totals $60,000, will go into effect June 1st and will last until June 30th, 2018. The Lake Transit will provide curb-to-curb transportation during clinic hours, Monday through Friday. The service will be provided to patients that are able to travel in paratransit vehicles without the need for medical personnel. It is open to those within the county unless the LTA determines their location cannot be safely accessed or will cause damage to the vehicle. Sutter Lakeside Hospital will be responsible for verifying patient eligibility, marketing, and promotion.
The former Visitor Information Center in Luzerne will be used as a satellite office for the Lake County Department of Social Services after a 4-to-1 vote was cast by the Lake County Board of Supervisors Tuesday. The county-owned building, which is located at 6110 Highway 20, was closed last October and has been vacant ever since. According to Lake County Social Services Director Carol Hutchinson, the department will use the ground floor of the building as satellite offices to be more easily available to the Lucerne community. The second floor of the building will be used as county storage, as it is not compliant with the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA. A total of 10 staff members will be on site, with housing being the anchor program and welfare eligibility services to be added as vacancies are filled and staffing becomes available. This is according to Hutchinson. Chairman of the board, Anthony Farrington, expressed concerns with cost, citing other county projects such as Holiday Harbor, the Middletown Sheriff's Substation, and Marymount, California University campus at the Lucerne Castle. Hutchinson said the cost should be relatively minimal, as the building would need little renovation to fit the Social Service Department's needs, with the exception of technologigical requirements.
The Clear Lake City Council will consider Thursday the approval of an employment contract with Greg Folsom to be the next city manager. Folsom will replace the retiring city manager, Joan Philippe, who has been with the city since October 2011. Folsom comes to the city with a master's degree in business administration, finance, and 20 years of senior local government experience in planning, economic development, and project implementation. Mayor Lou Stalot said that with Greg's extensive economic development experience in the city of Stockton and Riverside County, the city looks forward to active business recruitment to the city. Folsom brings with him the experience in working with the economic development corporations, collaborating with visitor bureaus and wine grower associations on tourism promotion, and success in attracting retail shopping developers. All of this experience falls right into what the city is currently working on, and will enable us to continue. I can't do it.
That's all right.
I just keep looking at her
That's all right.
slide.
We'll take this one. Forward with the
Coming
momentum
up at the end, I want you to know
that we have worked on buildings over the last few years. This is according to Lou Stalot. He also has been successful in developing facade improvements and downtown financial incentive programs, as well as managing redevelopment projects. Folsom also serves on the City of Menifee Planning Commission. He and his wife plan to relocate to Clear Lake, where he'll begin work on June 15th, providing for a 3-week transition period with Felipe. I got it. A bear was spotted in Clear Lake Oaks yesterday. Fish and Game spent several hours waiting for it to come down from a tree. They say he was looking for food. They started off trying to hit it with bean bags and pepper spray to scare it away.
She has an update.
Oh, yeah, the Fish and Game did abandoned the search for the bear. They gave up on it, and then in the middle of the night, it got down from the tree and ran away.
Yay!
Yes.
No killing.
This was on Sulphur Bank Road in Clear Lake Oaks at a senior mobile home park.
Very good.
We'll be back with the weather shortly.
I hope so. I like pronouncing it loose a lot.
SSS Multimedia is sending you smoke signals, providing their clients with the ultimate communication and multimedia marketing, distribution, production, and web-based services. They feature high-def video equipment and quality audio sound. SSS is your multimedia source, from graphics for business cards to television production, radio, live sound, and everything in between. SSS is sending you smoke signals. Get your message out with SSS Multimedia. For more information, call 707-701-6416 or email info@sssmultimedia.com.
Now with the weather, this week has brought us scattered showers, isolated thunderstorms, and mostly cloudy skies, and that is not going to change much today, as there will be a 20% chance of rain in intervals of clouds and sunshine. The high will be 73. Winds are from the southwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. In the evening, there will be some clouds early on, which will give us way to generally clear conditions overnight. The low will be 53. Winds from the south-southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. On Saturday, it will be sunny along with a few clouds. The high will be 76. Southeast winds shifting to west-southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. On Saturday night, there will be clear skies and a low near 55. Winds shifting to the south at 10 to 15 miles per hour. On Sunday, it will be sunny with a high of 82. Winds from the southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. In the evening, there will be clear skies with a low of 56. Winds south-southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. On Monday, there will be few clouds from time to time with a high near 80, winds from the south at 10 to 15 miles per hour, and the rain may return on Monday night.
Have you noticed that our weather's always 10 to 15 miles per hour? I don't know. It seems kind
The
of
wind's pretty
redundant all the time,
consistent.
but that's all right. All right, in sports, Douglas Quinones of Hidden Valley Lake fired a 600.
You're terrible.
I know I am. Fired a 6 under par 66 on the south course of Napa's Silverado Country Club on Wednesday to advance beyond local qualifying for the U.S. Open. Quinones, who prepped at Middletown High School and played collegiately at Monterey Peninsula College, New Mexico Junior College, and the University of Kansas, had 9 birdies to go with 3 bogeys and 6 pars on the 66-12-yard par 72 south course. He wound up second in the 90-player field to easily move on to the 36-hole sectional qualifying June 8th at Big Canyon Country Club and Newport Beach Country Club in Newport Beach. Low qualifiers there will earn spots in the 115th U.S. Open set for June 18th through the 21st at Chambers Bay in University Place, Washington. Clear Lake finally gets a much-needed rest this weekend after a wild week of fishing. There were more than 1,000 fishermen on the lake who were either fishing for catfish or bass. The good news is that overall the action for both species of fish was rated from good to excellent. John Fleener of Middletown won the adult division of the annual Clear Lake Oaks Glenhaven Catfish Derby with a 24.74 pounder. That almost weighs as much as me. The Derby produced a lot of catfish, and a number of fishermen reported catching 25 to 30 catfish. In fact, a pair of fishermen in the same boat reported catching more than 100 catfish during the 3-day Derby. The most popular area was in Clear Lake Oaks Arm near Rattlesnake Island and the entrance to Clear Lake Oaks Keys. Horseshoe Bend was another popular area. The Derby produced a total of 241 catfish for an average weight of 14.92 pounds. The good news is that of 969 contestants, 969 contestants, 69% came from out of the county. Fishermen came from Alabama, Oklahoma, Texas, Idaho, Nevada, Oregon, Washington, and from throughout California. Which just goes to show Clear Lake is a popular destination spot for fishermen, and the Clear Lake Oaks Glenhaven Catfish Derby remains one of the most popular fishing contests in the West. Bass fishermen were also out in force last weekend. The Future Pro Tournament fielded 110 boats on Saturday, and the winning team weighed in 27.31 pounds. The big fish of the tournament weighed 8.73 pounds. There was also several club tournaments last weekend. The Warriors are 2 wins away from advancing to the NBA Finals and 6 wins away from bringing home their first crown since 1975, having brushed off the Rockets' rally attempts for a 99-98 victory in Thursday's Game 2. After the Warriors took a 2-0 lead in front of the 130th consecutive sellout crowd at Oracle Arena, the best-of-7 Western Conference Final shifts to Houston for Game 3 on Saturday and Game 4 on Monday. Curry finished with 33 points and 6 assists. Bogut had his second postseason double-digit scoring game with 14 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 blocked shots. And Green did his usual stat stuffing with 12 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. Thompson scored 13 points and held Harden to 3 of 7 shooting in their second half matchups, and the Warriors again got multiple contributions off the bench to beat the Rockets, who didn't get much beyond Harden and Howard. Bumgarner homered, pitched 6 1/3 solid innings, and helped the San Francisco Giants shut out the Los Angeles Dodgers for the 3rd straight day, 4-0 Thursday. San Francisco outscored the Dodgers 10-0 in sweeping the 3-game series. The champion Giants have won 6 in a row overall. This was the 3rd time this season that Bumgarner, the current World Series MVP, has started against Kershaw. The Giants have won all 3. Bumgarner, now 5-2 on the season, worked around 7 hits and 2 walks while striking out 6. He improved to 9-3 in his last 13 starts against the Dodgers. Bumgarner became the first pitcher to homer off Kershaw, who is now 2-3. The Giants star connected for his 7th career home run, hitting a solo shot into the left field bleachers in the 3rd. Hunter Pence had 2 hits and drove in 2 runs, and Noki Oki added 2 hits. Angel Pagan slid home on Pence's single in the 4th. There was a review of the play and it stood as called. The Giants were 4.5 games behind the Giants at the start of the series, but find themselves only 1.5 games back. Right-hander pitcher Ryan Fogelsong, who is 2-2 on the season with a 5.31 ERA, starts against the Rockies in Colorado on Friday night. He's 2-0 with a 1.37 ERA over his last 3 starts, but has struggled against the Rockies, losing his last 3 starts at Coors Field, posting a 13.50 ERA. Alex Colomé and 4 relievers combined on a 6-hitter. David Jesus drove in 2 runs, and the Rays beat the Oakland A's 3-0 on Thursday night to take sole possession of first place in the AL East. Jesse Chavez, 1-4 in the season, allowed 3 runs and 5 hits in 6+ innings for the Oakland, which has now lost 13 of 15 games. It's the first time the A's, who are now 14-29, have been 15 games under 500 since September 27, 2011. Athletics left-handed pitcher Scott Kazmir, who is 2-2 with a 3.08 ERA, will face his old team on Friday. The Rays will start right-handed pitcher Chris Archer, who is 4-4 with a 2.47 ERA.
Time. Breaking news. We have some great, no, I'm not on. Test. One more. No, should we tell directly where it is? Oh, no, it's going over there. Okay, just tell them to hang on for a second. We got some breaking news.
It'll be one moment, folks. We have some breaking news coming to the studio right now. We'll be with you in one moment.
Test. Not seeing anything. Oh, there it is. Okay, folks, just wanted to let everybody know that the Fire in the Barn Festival that was tentatively canceled for July 4th weekend has now been rescheduled for July 4th weekend at Robinson Rancheria. And that will be definitely happening. It's a 3-day reggae festival. And we wanted to let everybody know right away that they can get their tickets at brownpapertickets.com. And if you have any questions, you can contact us here at the office, 701-6029. Thank you.
And now we're back with our final word. Just after 9 p.m. last night, Sheriff Dispatch received a call from a man who said that 2 vehicles had been following him since Sacramento and that the people in those vehicles wanted to kill him. He was somewhere between Lower Lake and Middletown when dispatch lost contact with him. They tried pinging his cell phone with no results, and after they could not find him, they terminated their search efforts. About 30 minutes later, he called dispatch again. He stated that he bailed out from his vehicle and was headed on foot across a field near Harbin Hot Springs in Middletown. He said that the car that was following him was now chasing him down. Then he stated that 5 subjects exited the vehicle and began chasing him. It was later revealed via scanner traffic that 5 Norteño gang members were chasing him and that he was a former police officer, and this is why they believed they were after him. Then, when police arrived on scene 15 minutes later, they were unable to find him because he kept moving to different locations, at one point hiding in a creek. They found one single vehicle, which was registered to Lodi, California, with a confidential plate. When they finally found the male subject and ran his driver's license, he also came back confidential out of Lodi. When they contacted the Lodi Police Department, the sergeant there confirmed that he was in fact a former officer, but was discharged after suffering a host of mental health issues, including paranoid schizophrenia, that he believed that there were people after him, that he liked to walk around at nighttime with guns, and that he threatened suicide. At this time, he also believed that there was an implant in his head and that people were after him. According to scanner traffic, the scene was clear and no subjects that were pursuing him were found. At this point, we do not know the final outcome, but we hope he gets the help he needs.
That could explain a lot of things going on in our country right now.
Yes. I tell you, it's the stupid virus.
Stupid virus, I like that one. Thanks for joining us, folks. LCM TV News can be seen Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at noon live here at lcm-tv.com. And anytime on the 2015 archive page at lakehomagazine.com. Join us again on Monday at noon. The next live show's broadcast will be Pasha Space at 3 p.m. today, and The Bridge with Sister T at 9 a.m. Saturday. Her guest will be David Hines from Steel Pulse, who will be performing at this year's Sierra Nevada World Music Festival. And don't forget to check Lake County Magazine for all your local news and information daily at lakehomagazine.com. I'm Pete Schiffman.
I'm Megan Berger.
Both have a great day out there.
Have a great day.